Good morning. It's Jack, so cultivate your power. Today we're going to be talking about projections and how these projections they sort of circle about. We create a projection and then they come back to us in a way. So and explain a little bit about why we have these projections and what we can do about them, and realize that a lot of the projections we're making are based on past experiences. It's like we experiencing something traumatic or something that really gets under our skin or hurts us, and to protect ourselves we continue taking that sort of we continue to bring awareness of whatever that thing, that the cause of pain is. We continue to bring that awareness into our present day to avoid more pain. And this can be a good thing, but it can also be a really bad thing. And I'm going to explain why. So, for example, I used to have a lot of social anxiety. About 3 years ago, I couldn't say hi to anybody walking past them on the street. I couldn't make eye contact with anybody I found attractive. You know? And in the present day, I can have conversations for any length of time I'd want to. My social anxiety is released. I've I've become aware of those stories that I've been telling myself about, oh, what's gonna happen, huh? And if it does happen, I've released to I've released the pattern of caring so much if it does happen. But so basically, with the example of social anxiety that I had, the projection I would make on people around me, right? Well, let's start with the projection that was put on me. I was neglected and abused for the first 15 years of my life. And that really instilled in my mind that I was sort of not meant to be taken care of. I actually remember vividly, I was literally told, "You are worthless." Straight to my face. I was told I was a bad person. I was treated like that as well. And those things, your experiences, they sort of they sort of mold your psyche a little bit. Your perception, and a lot of your perception can be changed. A lot of these it's like we're wearing glasses, right? It's like we're wearing glasses. And then somebody just comes in and they put their experience over on us. And then we're subjected to it. We have to, we experience the, hey, you're worthless. And then you start looking at reality, perceiving everything around you as, hey, I'm worthless. So I couldn't get that job. I can't make friends over there. I can't be the leader of the team over there on the soccer team. Actually, you know, since my confidence was so low, since I valued myself so little when I was in elementary school, I remember I was the last pick on the soccer team every time. And I wasn't the worst at soccer. I just had the last I came in last for confidence, you know? A lot about our experience and what we're drawing to us has to do with what we're overlaying onto it. If I'm if I'm choosing to look at reality as it truly is, I'm choosing to take off the distorted lens, this distorted identity for who I thought I was by someone else's incorrect assessment. They were projecting things onto me. They were projecting things onto me from their own past experiences. Let that sink in. Let it sit. Because I can guarantee you, 100% guarantee you, if you were raised by, I mean, even if you weren't raised, you can't go a day in the world without having somebody throw a projection on you. Maybe that was a projection. Maybe you haven't even talked to anybody today, so that's not possible. It's like, so with the identity that I held that I was somebody worthless, it had impacted my self-esteem. I felt I was inadequate, I wasn't capable. So as a result, in order to protect myself, I didn't try. In order to protect my weak little identity, I didn't talk to people because I felt that they would tell me that I was worthless as well. And it gets even deeper because when I did start making friends in about elementary school, middle school, high school, present day, a pattern that I noticed was I didn't, I didn't demand respect. I felt like my voice was not important because I was still to a certain extent, I was looking through those past lenses. I was still looking through that identity of the idea because I had accepted it when I was younger. I had accepted the idea that I was worthless. And honestly, it was pretty hard not to, given that I was just a little kid. I didn't know any better. You don't have a conscious mind when you're 5 years old. You can't think for yourself. Yes. So, with that projection, or with that assumption that I was unworthy, I went about my reality assuming that I was unworthy. And then my my early my earliest best friend, I'm not going to say their name, it's not important. In fact, I really thank that friend for being in my life and teaching me what they have. That first best friend that I had, we were friends for 8, 9, maybe 10 years, all through elementary school, through middle school, played video games all the time, all that, hung out every day, almost every day for like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. It's crazy. We'd do everything together. We rode our bikes around, we'd do all this, we'd go in phases together. And I tolerated, we'd always bust each other's balls, right? We'd always crap talk each other, we'd always put each other down. And when I felt, when I was of the identity that I was worthless and I was an unimportant person, that was just, hey, that was okay. And then I had an experience in my life where I learned. I truly learned that I was capable of demanding respect. And I was also capable of putting my foot down and saying, no, if you don't respect me, there's gonna be consequences. You know? So with that friend that would always disrespect me and I would disrespect, it was kind of just a playful thing, right? But when I became of the understanding and maturing and growing up and wanting to be talked to a different way as we got older and started developing and growing up, I wanted to switch it and say, hey man, it's cool if you bust my balls, but the way you're talking to me right now is disrespectful. And I don't appreciate that. And I want you to stop. I said those things. And they fell on deaf ears because he wasn't there at that same time. And that's okay. Not everybody's going to be there at the same time. Shoot, you're probably not where other people want you to be. I might not be where somebody else wants me to be, and that's fine. You're supposed to be where you're supposed to be. Follow your own intuition. Listen to your own voice. Your own voice is going to tell you where you need to grow. Yes, do listen to that other external voice. It's going to give you a lot of good pointers, a lot of good tips, a lot of things you might not see if you're only looking through your own eyes. Different perspectives do help. So after I had started asking for respect, the disrespect got stronger, right? It got stronger. It was like, man, I'm gonna tell my friend that I don't like the way he's changing, man. He's not fun anymore. He's not fun anymore. Like it's not the same. And it was really sad because I had to let go of a friend, my best friend of my whole life, because I started valuing myself more. I let go. I let go of detachment to my friend and I started attaching more to my values, myself, what is important to me. So that whole worthless identity and how I would look at the whole world and I would say, hey, this person, or if I try to make friends, the example of the projection part, right, is, hey, my viewer, you, this is only hypothetical, you might think this video is terrible. That's a projection. You also might think this video is legendary. And that's probably what's actually happening because you're here this long. So, I had to realize that my perception, everything that I'm viewing, is all based on my past experiences. All based on the emotions, the emotional circuits that are in my brain. In the past, I felt these emotions, and then I started carrying those emotions with me. Like an identity. Your identity is a cybernetic system. What is a cybernetic system, you might ask? Well, think of your thermostat, for example. If it goes above 70, well, then the cybernetic system brings it back down to 70. And if it goes to 69, the cybernetic system is going to bring it back up to 70. So, it's essentially like your identity has an equilibrium. Your identity has a baseline, or not a baseline because you can change it. Don't look at it as that. It's your identity has a place that it likes to sit at comfortably. It doesn't like to jump up here and then jump down here and then jump up here and be all over the place here one day and here the other day. Humans like to have a stable identity. And even if it's a really low negative identity, because we wake up, we're reminded of ourselves, we think of ourselves in the same way, it provides certainty. It provides explanation to a lot of our experiences. And yes, it's like eating junk food, but it still has calories, so that's why we do it. You got to be aware, hey, I'm consuming a bunch of junk food mentally from my past experiences. I'm drawing from that and thinking that that's all that there ever is. And man, can past experience be so convincing. Man, can it be so convincing. When that's all you've ever known. It's hard to step into the knowing of something else. You have to know that there is something else. And then you go ahead and find it. When I was 15, I hadn't known a loving family. I hadn't known making food together. I hadn't known that it was normal to go to the store and buy food together. I hadn't known that it was normal to spend time together because my norms were set by my family that was dysfunctional by nature. Then I had to, with my conscious mind, now that I'm aware and I'm choosing my experience, I'm choosing my life, what is what I want to be, what kind of person I want to be. A person of ethics, a person of morals, a person of principles, a person of values. And how do I say this? It's like every single moment that we're living, every single moment, we're deciding who to be. That moment when, I don't know, say you're on the bus, someone yells across the bus at you. You don't hear what they say. Well, there's a lot of options there. I mean, there's a lot of options there. What are you gonna do? You can decide who to be. I mean, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna react? How are you gonna respond? Maybe, and a lot of the things or how we respond, right, is based on the projection that we're putting onto what we think that experience means. Did that person across the bus just yell something mean at me? Oh, I'm going to ignore them. Or I'm going to yell back at them. Or, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm going to go tell the bus driver. Or, I don't know, maybe I'm going to throw a piece of gum at them. I don't know. There's a lot of options there. But maybe if you saw reality as it clearly was, maybe it was an old friend saying, "Oh, no way, it's great to see you," right before they head off the bus. And you just were so fixated in your own lane, like, why are people yelling at me? You know? It's like you're reliving. It's like, I noticed I was doing this yesterday too. I noticed I was doing this yesterday, and I'm really happy I caught myself with that awareness. And I journaled it all out. But it's like that uncertainty, right? That uncertainty of, hey, what is reality? What is the actual thing happening? What is it? Like the real thing that's happening. And then there's my perception. Then there's my perception. And then that little gap that's in between. That little gap of uncertainty. That gap of skepticism. Maybe infused with a little bit of insecurity if that's coming through your perception. That little gap right there is where you're going to realize a lot of your past, a lot of your past conceptions, a lot of the past ideas about yourself, ideas about the world. And a lot of these ideas, I mean, I'm not saying ideas in general are bad or that looking at the world in a way is bad. I'm just I'm just saying to become aware of it because not all of these projections that we make are true. They're not all true. A lot of the time we live in a perpetual state of hypnosis. We're living in a perpetual state of hypnosis. A lot of our memories are false. And we continue to switch memories and we organize them and disorganize them basically just to suit whether, that cybernetic system is saying, no, I am a worthy person. I can think of all these memories why I am. All these experiences where people thought I was more than good enough. And then if I have my identity down here where I thought I was worthless, I can think of a multitude of reasons or experiences that would also go to prove that stupid identity. But the choice is with you. What are you continuing to believe about yourself? And a lot of those times, you being worthy or unworthy was not even a belief you created. It was not even a belief you created. If you feel worthless, if you have that worthless identity, there's a pretty high likelihood that somebody made you feel that way. Or maybe that you even made yourself feel that way by, I don't know, going against your values or not taking care of yourself or disrespecting yourself or other people. Maybe something that made you feel ashamed of yourself. A lot of the times, the identity that we have, the identity that we start with, right? The identity that we start with as a kid, because we kind of soak it up. We kind of soak it up. People tell us, "Oh, hey, you're clumsy." Then you just say, "Okay, I'm clumsy. All right, well, oh, oopsie, I accidentally hit my incense and burned my house down." No. When you realize with the gap, right? With the, hey, what is physical reality, right? What is the actual reality of myself, my true nature, or the world, the true nature, and my perception. And the gap in between is where you're going to find and identify a lot of those old emotional and thought patterns that are stored in your subconscious. And you can slowly or quickly make those more conscious. And you can begin to realize that a lot of the things, a lot of these perspectives that we're looking through still, they're a little bit messed up. It's like we just need to, you see that on there? I need to clean that thing off, man. Like, let me clean it off. You know what I mean? Now I can see reality clearer. Now I can have less of a self-perpetuated delusion that's, you know? So you don't want to put yourself in any sort of positive delusion because you're still in delusion. You want to see reality as it is because that's going to help you. But you also want to be positive. You want to have a positive attitude about it. Even if it's really terrible, even if the reality is really terrible, you still want to be sitting in that positive emotional space. You still want to have that feel good, right? I mean, you're here because you're feeling bad, right? Wait a second. Why did I just say you're feeling bad? I don't think in that moment you actually felt bad. I don't think so. I hope not. I doubt it, honestly. We convince ourselves. We convince ourselves so much of who we are by continually recycling the past, recycling the past, and recycling the past. And we need to become aware that, hey, my emotions, my thoughts are bringing me in this really weird loop. And it's all focused on the past. And if you continue to focus on the past, you can't create a new experience in the future. You can't even have an experience in the present moment. Because if I were thinking about my past right now, I wouldn't really be able to make this video. This is a moment. This video is being made in the present moment. Present moment incorporated. See? None of this is planned. I have a few things I want to talk about in this video, but it's not scripted. It's a freestyle, free flow of these ideas. And I really truly hope these ideas have helped you and become more aware of when you're slipping into the trance of a past experience. And even if you feel it's so real, that's okay. It might be real to you for a little while, and that's all right. It'll take a little time to, start looking at things through a different set of glasses. If somebody says I'm worthless, what are other people saying about me? And it's not to say that you should only source the opinion of yourself externally, because that's not what you should do. But if somebody thinks I'm worthless, I can guarantee you that somebody else thinks I'm not. Somebody else thinks I'm valuable. And I can absolutely guarantee that the same is there for everybody. It's like, you might not like the color pink, but the color pink has value. You might not like the color blue, but the color blue has value. You might not like the color green, but the color green has value. It's all situational based. This right here, this little pocket knife or pocket tool, is going to be deemed as unworthy, right? Based on context. This is going to be an unworthy dental tool. I really don't even want to imagine that. That's terrible. But dental tools are going to be deemed unworthy when I'm trying to sharpen my pocket knife or I'm trying to strip some wires. You know what I'm saying? Everything is contextual. All of our perceptions that we have are things that we're imagining and we're creating in our minds. We need to create new perspectives and start to look through those new perspectives. Start to embody those new perspectives. Start to embody the emotion of, no, I am worthy. I am a cool guy. I can make friends. And I do have social skills. I let go of that social anxiety. I let go of that unworthiness. Now I can be more authentic. Now I can be more real, more free, more expressive, more at ease, more at peace, and eating more peas. You have a great rest of your day. I really hope you enjoy this video. Bye-bye.